Welcome back to The Vocalist. Today we are listening to Tom Waits with the song Tom Traubert's Blues. Here we go.
Wasted and wounded, it ain't what the moon did. God, what I paid for now. See you tomorrow, if Frank can I borrow a couple of bucks from you to I'm an innocent victim of a blinded alley, and I'm tired of all these soldiers here. No one speaks English and everything's broken, and my stasis are soaking wet. I do go
Okay. Not my first time hearing Tom Waits. The first time I did a deep dive into some of his music, just on my own, I was amazed for multiple reasons. Firstly, his catalog is so diverse. To an extent, I feel like I recognize a sense of his style from one piece to the next, but it's slight. Like sometimes what he does is just so different. And not just from album to album, but literally song to song, and sometimes even within individual songs. This particular piece, I chose this song because when we think about his vocals, that is also, they're very hard to pin down. If you listen to some of his earlier music, obviously there's a lot less texture. And then as he grew older, that texture seemed to be amplified, and sometimes to the extent that if I'm not looking at the music, I can't actually distinguish the melody. Like it becomes so, not even spoken, but just ambiguous. So I thought this was a really good example. At least, I don't know, you guys might say otherwise, but I thought this was just a really good example of both his vocals and his music. I'm trying to remember. There are a couple of songs of his that he has pieces that are so luxurious, like this one. What's the other one? Take It With Me. I like to sing that one every once in a while because it's just the storytelling mixed with these sort of, the text isn't vague, but it can create a vague picture, if that makes sense. But then he also has stuff that's like so fun and bluesy and you just love to rock out to. And I don't know, I marvel at how much is in this man's brain and how much he has come up with, and the variety he's given us. I won't go back because Well, no, I won't go back. I feel like the texture is fairly consistent throughout this one. It's been a minute, so I might be wrong and then we'll have to go back, but we're going to keep trekking and I'll probably stop and start now to discuss more of his vocals.
The dogs are barking and the taxi cab's parking.
Actually, let me get at least into this line.
Waltzing Matilda with me.
If you think about saying the word waltzing Matilda, he keeps everything so narrow in the front. Waltzing Matilda. There's this gorgeous darkness, still using some space, but we get more rounding in the front and then, of course, tons of glorious texture.
Now the dogs are barking.
The way he produces texture, it almost at times sounds like polyphonic singing, just because the texture is so prominent, it just sounds like it's its own vocal line.
Now the dogs are barking and the taxi cab's parking.
When he sang parking, the amount of air that we heard in that P sound makes me feel like there's just a lot of pressure that he's using to create some of this texture. I know there are lots of different ways of creating texture, but it does sound that there might be an element of air pressure in this sound for him.
The Lord they can do for me. I begged you to stab me.
Even when he sings begged you.
I begged you to stab me. You tore my shirt open, and I'm down on my knees tonight.
Now there was a little less texture at the end of that phrase, so we got to hear a bit more of just pure tone.
My knees tonight. Old Bushmills I staggered, you buried the dagger, your silhouette window light. To go waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you go waltzing Matilda with me.
I just can't get over this gorgeous accompaniment. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. It's so lush. I love the incorporation of strings. Again, I'm so fascinated by the music that he has given us. There's just so much variety and so much depth to all of it. I think that's the other thing. I hate using the word superficial because, well, you know what? No, I'm going to stand firm in this. I feel that sometimes we get songs that are superficial, that there is not as much human emotion and depth in those pieces. And there is a time and a place for them, but just like poetry, sometimes you want to read poetry that's just fun or maybe makes your mind think in different ways, and then other times you want poetry that just like reaches in and like puts your entire soul on a platter. And I love the depth of this song, and I feel like it's the combination of both the music, the melody, the accompaniment, and the text itself.
Now I lost my St. Christopher, now that I've kissed her, and the one-armed bandit knows, and the maverick Chinaman in the cold-blooded signs, and the girls down by the striptease shows go.
I had not thought of this previously, but I think it actually requires quite a bit of restraint as a singer, as an artist, to not give in to one's, to not let the music take over your vocal production. So when I hear this song, I can just imagine how I would want to sing it and just, pull the curtains back and just let it rip. And he made such an intentional choice with the texture that he put into his voice. Again, you can hear, and certainly in some of his earlier stuff, you can definitely hear it. But even now, you can hear some of the just really beautiful quality in his singing tone. But he has sacrificed that in order to create some sounds and some effects that he felt served the music better. At least that's how I'm interpreting this. I don't know. I could be way off base, but I feel like there is almost that he was willing to sacrifice some of his vocals in order to achieve the bigger picture he had in his mind with how this song should sound.
Old King Matilda, old King Matilda, you. Oh, old King Matilda with me. No, I don't want your sympathy.
I will speak to the texture a little bit in terms of vocal technique. I've mentioned this before. When we are singing higher, our chords naturally thin and separate. So it's usually easier for people to incorporate more texture as they ascend. And it does vary from person to person. You can certainly find that foundational textured sound easier in mid-range. But we're always working harder to improve dexterity so that as we ascend, as the chords are thinning, we find just the right amount of muscle tension and air pressure to keep the adduction that we want the higher we go. And so if you just give in to what's happening with the chords and allow that separation, to my ears, I feel like we're getting even more texture as he's in this higher range.
Fugitives say that the streets aren't for dreaming now. Manslaughter, dragnets, and the ghosts that sell memories. They want a piece of the action anyhow. Go, old King Matilda, old King Matilda, you. Go, old King Matilda with me. And you can ask any sailor, and the keys from the jailer, and the old men in wheelchairs know that Matilda's the defendant. She killed.
On the sound of Matilda this last time, it was a little, the texture wasn't quite so harsh. It was a little warmer.
Men in watchers know that Matilda's the defendant. She killed about 100, and she follows wherever you may go. Old Saint Matilda, old Saint Matilda, you go, old Saint Matilda, with me. And it's a battered old suitcase to a...
It almost sounds like he is gritting his teeth when he says case, like battered old suitcase. It's so pressurized and it feels so tense, which I find interesting given that the texture throughout a lot of this has felt relatively relaxed to my ears.
Hotel someplace, and a wound that will never heal. No prima donna, the perfume is on an old shirt that is stained with blood and whiskey. And good night to the street sweepers, the night watchmen, flame keepers, and good night, Matilda, too.
Listen to that last note. I mean, that texture was just rumbling and then it cut out entirely. I don't have much more to say on this one. I am eager to read your comments because I feel like Tom Waits, for some, can be very polarizing. So I don't know. I've just always found what I've heard interesting. And like I said, sometimes you get these insanely beautiful, romantic, lush melodies. And then other times it is funky and jazzy and bluesy. And I don't know. I just think it's so cool that all of that has come from one person's mind and creativity. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for suggesting this reaction though, and for watching with me. And hopefully I will see you next time.